Without these 4 secret inner motivational hacks for your kids, even if you're spending tens and thousands of dollars on private tutoring for your kids will still be at the bottom of class, and worse off, you're going to ruin your relationship with them. I call these 4 secret hacks URGE. As you can see here, the URGE method was learned from my very rich clients, which I've served as a mortgage broker in the last 15 years, where I've absorbed all their secrets, which they teach their kids. And the reason why, if you don't apply the URGE method, that will ruin your relationship with your kids. For most times as parents, when we want our kids to do something, we give them the motivation, right? We want them to do the private tutoring. We want them to succeed in life. Everything is what we want, and we light the fire. And usually we light the fire under their butts, which causes them to do this, which basically when they grow up, they hate our guts and they have a lot of internal trauma because we're forcing them to do something they do not want. How do you apply URGE that creates inner motivation for them to succeed? Well, let's go. Firstly, what the heck is URGE-Q? Well, URGE, U stands for Unity Meetings, R stands for Reverse Teaching, G for GUI Finance, and I'll digress later, and E stay to the end of this video and I'll drop what E means. So first of all, let's start with U, which is Unity Meetings. So in order to create URGE, which is the inner fire for your kids to do something on their own accord, which also aligns with your goals and objectives for your kids' growth, is basically every 2 weeks have a family meeting. You open the meeting and there's a chairperson or a madam chair, and then the person lists out the agenda of the meeting. Whatever that is on the agenda, we let our child, in this instance, be the chair of the family meeting. And the family meeting could be about, the finance approval for lollies, or it could be where we're going in the next 2 weeks. For example, I have 2 young boys. My eldest and my youngest might decide to go certain places, and we have a meeting and go through the agenda, and it takes about 30 minutes. And we let our kids be the chairperson. And what we do is we allow our child to follow the simple agenda and go, okay, well, Dad, it's your turn to speak. Okay, Mum, it's your turn to speak. And what we do is, thank you, chairperson, or thank you, Madam Chair. It gives us a sense of responsibility that they're making a decision and being part of the family. The second method of the URGE method is the R, which is reverse teaching. What this means is let your kids be your teacher. And don't say, hey, let's pretend you're my teacher. No, they are your teacher. For example, I'm really bad with geography. For example, I am, released this book at the moment, Nala the Naughty Savings Jar, which is in my bio link to pre-order. And we're shipping it to everyone overseas, right? We've got people from United Kingdom, Sweden, people from Spain, and my geography is so bad. What I do is to my kids, I'm like, hey, I don't know where I'm shipping this to. It says Spain, but I don't know where in the world is Spain. My son, who is 7 years old, brings out a map and actually explains to me where Spain is, because obviously he's invested his money into my business, which I'll give him a return based on my other viral video, and he wants me to deliver this book to the person in Spain that bought it and make sure that they receive the goods so that he can get paid. So sometimes you gotta be the dumb parent. Don't be the smart parent. Usually smart parents, acting like smart parents, you produce dumb kids. Be a dumb parent, be modest, empty your ego, and let your kids be the smart teacher. Because what happens, it empowers them to be responsible, to feel that, oh my God, I actually can apply what I've learned in school to teach my parents. This is a very crucial step in developing this inner fire, this inner urge. Now, moving on to the third letter, which is G in urge, it stands for GUI Finance. And let me digress. So basically, in the bi-weekly meeting that we have, obviously from the first U, the first letter of urge is Unity Meetings. Sometimes we allocate our kids a different role in the meeting. So rather than being the chairperson or the madam chair, they become the treasurer of the family. And their role is to stamp and sign off every finance decision the family is making. For example, the budget is set for lollies, the budget is set for toys, the budget is set for trips. For example, we're going to Japan soon, the budget is set for that. Anything that relates to budgeting, for example, we decide to invest in a property, and also we allow our kids to make that decision. Obviously, they're partaking, they don't make the ultimate decision because you don't want to give them that pressure. But what you want to do is that they sign off on that decision in that meeting. And how we get them to sign off is they use GU, right? So we have like a piece of paper. For example, this is a piece of paper, and it says here, I, the child's name, sign off on etc., finance decision to purchase, etc., etc. And what happens is they get like a bit of goo, which we have, and then we call that gooey finance, and they just splatter over it. And they go, done. You know, it's officially being gooeyed, right? So it's a fun way for your kids to understand, hey, I also can partake in the decision making of the household budget, which allows them to basically utilize some of these concepts that are taught in the Nada the Naughty Savings Jar and my other books that I'm producing as a kids finance author, to really be empowered to have that inner urge to think for themselves when they're really young at that age, to go, hey, every decision I make really will impact my family and the greater universe, and therefore, I should study well, make sure I wake up, I make sure I do things that impact what I do to other people. And that's how you create further urge in your kids, rather than you trying to basically yell at them every single day and lighting a fire up their ass and doing things based on what you say. And lastly, let's jump into the final hack of urge. And you know what? I'm going to save this for myself. So jump in the comments here. Let me know whether you want to know the final hack. I want to see your urge as parents, because if you don't have urge, how are you supposed to teach your kids urge? So jump in the comments. Let me know whether you want part 2 to this video, and I will show it to you.